try to do here today, I got cameras all over the place, is I'm going to go try to bed my brakes. I got one GoPro hanging out over the brake. We'll see if that holds on here. I got one in front, one on the speedo here, so we can sort of see that, and then one obviously in the car to make sure that we don't lose our audio. So I have 380 millimeter fronts, 365 millimeter rotors in the rear, Brembo 6-piston fronts, 4-piston rear, and this is how I bed them. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 60 to 5 mile per hour runs, hard on the brakes, and do one after the other, and that's the process that I generally use to bed the brakes. So we're going to go out here to my usual brake bedding spot and hope that no one gets behind us so that we can capture this footage. We're also going to hope that we don't lose my brand new GoPro Hero 7 off the side of the car. Plus, I'm testing the one in the front because it wasn't working before. In the car, I was having all kinds of issues with it, so I have that one outside in linear mode. So we'll see how it goes. But the car's doing great. The tune feels awesome. Suspension is pretty good. Again, I've said this before, I'm not a super fan of the ASTs. They're a little harsh. But again, that may be me comparing my GT3, or not GT3, my M3 to the 1M. I don't know if maybe the 1 series just has a little more feedback through the car. But everything else is shaping up pretty nicely. I'm really enjoying the driving experience now in the car in comparison to the way I had set it up before. And now we have the ultimate setup with really lightweight wheels, the HREs. I have a 255s in the front, 285s in the rear, so a 30 millimeter stagger, which seems to suit this car pretty well. I actually think the car feels better than it did with the 20 millimeter stagger. I had 255, 275s on the GTS wheels. I feel like the car, it just feels better. Now, I didn't have the car aligned before with this setup, so, and now that it's aligned and set up here, I think I may try putting the other factory wheels on at some point. But the only downside of doing the HREs is that there is a little rub when you're going in reverse. I think in short order, I can see exactly where it's rubbing. It's barely touching the fender liner, and it's only when I'm going in reverse and doing an aggressive turn. So generally speaking, it's not a big deal. Gosh, I guess that camera's going to stay put, so we'll see. So I'm going to do like a 65 to 5. So when you're bedding brakes, what you don't want to do is come to a complete stop. When they're really, really hot, we don't want the pad to clamp onto the rotor and leave too much of a deposit. Because from what I understand, the point of this is to leave a pad deposit on the rotors, and that way we don't end up with all kinds of squeaking or improper heating, and then the possibility of warping. It's amazing how much better the car is handling wise than it was before. Wow. Yeah, the car's doing great. That's a really bumpy turn there.
K-band.
Well, that's not usual out here. So good, no one's behind us. Let's hope that we can do this without anybody getting in our way. And I'll use this whole run here, and we'll get plenty of motion sickness as I'm going to try not to fixate on the speed too much. Speedo. Because when I did it on my M3, I got myself sick. So I found that, there's no real sense of urgency when doing this. We just do it. So you don't have to rush, other than I don't want anybody getting behind me. All right, here we go. Hard brake. Wow, these brakes are legit. Back up to 60. brake. That's 2. Wow. That's 3. I guess I'm not really getting down to 5, am I? Holy crap, these brakes will rip your face off. That's 4. Five. Six. Pedal feels good. 7. 8. Wow, it's like ripping the face off the car. 9. 10. Now, let's drive and cool it down. We'll do one more here. That should be all we need to do. Now we'll try not to use the brakes, let them cool off. And if you end up with any kind of squeaking or anything, then generally I'll come out and do it again. But that's the only procedure that I found needs to be done to get the brakes bedded. Without doing that, you'll end up with problems like squeaking and things like that, and maybe not as good a stopping power. Again, from what I understand, we're leaving pad material on the brakes or on the rotors to get them set up to then do heavier braking when necessary. But yeah, the car feels good, man. I dig how it feels now. It's driving straight. We have some nice balance. I mean, the car feels good. Am I going to sport mode? Power feels linear. I think the blow off is super cool. Of course, you could get rid of that if you win the car, but I don't see why anyone wouldn't want it. The HMS exhaust is nice. There's a little drone at certain frequencies, but I don't. It's not enough to annoy me, and I'm pretty sensitive to that. Come up here. So the front lip should be here any day. That's cool. Still waiting on the center console. The main rough piece I have, so worst case scenario if it doesn't come in time, I ordered it from Germany, so I ordered from BMW Parts, which they ordered it from Germany. So hopefully it will come, but the car's coming together really nicely. Just drives so differently than the M3, with a lot more torque, obviously. This car's going to have 100 foot-pounds more torque than the M3 has. So it feels very different. I feel like I have more fun with this car driving it slower around town. But it is a 1 Series, so it does feel like, it's not as comfortable as the M3. It doesn't feel as, how do I say, it doesn't feel as put together. It doesn't feel as nice. Although this is a great place to be, it's hard to explain. It feels hollower, like there's less sound deadening and things like that, which for most people would be preferred. but I find myself enjoying the driving experience of this car more than the M3, like driving around here. But the overall package of the M3, I'm going to be doing a comparison video here coming up soon. The overall packaging of this versus the M3, I'd choose the M3. The transmission's way better in this though. Much more mechanical feeling. Let's do a pull. Sliding around. Oh yeah, Brembos are amazing. Nice linear stopping, the pedal feels good. So we got all the air out of the lines. That Motul, what is it, MT600 I think it's called. So we should have gotten some cooling here. The rotors ought to be good to go. Man, the car handles so much better than it did when I got it. I was scared to go around these turns. The car just felt so unbalanced. Now it feels like an M car. Yeah. So that's the bedding procedure. Short video. More driving videos coming up here. I just wanted to get that done. You don't want to drive around too much without bedding them. You want to get them, I think, bedded as quickly as possible so we don't end up with issues. And then the beauty of these Brembos, man, they're so stock-like feeling. They just feel incredible. You know, both stopping power, but what I'm more interested in is the 95% of the time I'm just driving around. Yeah, I love the looks of the brakes and the feel of the brakes and the ability to stop when I want to stop. You know, the M3 brakes aren't bad that were on this, but I don't want all the baggage that comes with it. Oh, yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, thanks for watching this one. We'll have more M car stuff coming up with the M5 soon. Thanks for watching. So depending on your car, on this car, on a BMW, you don't have to worry about this, but generally after doing some hard driving or especially bedding your brakes, if your e-brake happens to be part of the rear rotor, which these cars don't have, there's a separate drum-based hydraulic, or I guess it's probably a cable-driven system that this e-brake uses on these cars, so it's separate from the rear caliper. But on many cars, you don't want to pull the e-brake because you don't want the pad to seize to the rotor. Again, on an M car, doesn't matter, but most do. So if you're watching this bedding procedure for other cars, just get in the habit of don't pull the e-brake after hard driving or bedding the brakes.